In this lesson, we're going to put a fillet edge on this model, and we're going to look at what happens when that doesn't work and you need to do a workaround. And that workaround will be using piping and surfacing. First of all, let's put a fillet edge on here. So if we go to our main toolbar and we do a pull out on the solid tools, we can choose variable radius fillet. I'll click on the two edges. I'll hit enter, and I'll click preview. Right now we just have this set to 1 millimeter. And we know that this is actually 30 millimeters deep. So I'll do a set all, and half that distance is going to be 15 millimeters. So the largest radius we could hope to put through both sides of this will be 15 millimeters. Now, there's a good chance when you come right up to an edge like that it may not work, and you might have to back it off just a little. So let's go ahead and see what we get. I'll type 15, I'll hit enter. Looks pretty good so far. And you can see that that didn't quite work for us. And that's fine, I wasn't really expecting it to. So if we back that off, so we'll do the Control Z, we'll press enter again, and see it remembers 15. Let's try 14.5. So I just type that, hit enter, I'll hit my edges again, I'll hit enter, and notice we almost got it, but it didn't just quite work for us. Let's Control Z to undo that again. We'll press the space bar, and this time, instead of selecting those edges, what we'll do is we'll click on Previous Edge Selection. And that's really nice. It's not such a big deal on a simple model like this where there's only two edges. But if you've got a complex series of edges, and sometimes you might have 40 or 50 edges you have to individually select, and then you find out that your fillet edge doesn't work, now you just come back in, apply the command, click on Previous Edge Selection, and it goes through and it chooses all of those 50 or 100 edges for you. So that's very nice. I am going to hit enter. I forgot to change my radius before I started this, but that's okay. Let's hit enter. And now I'll go to set all, and now let me try typing 14, and we'll see what we get there. And really what we're trying to do is get enough space in here that it can go ahead and fit a surface all the way around this. So I think by and large, most people that work in Rhino use the fillet edge, and they've probably gotten accustomed to just sort of grabbing fillet edge from down here. But there actually is another command, because what this gives you is tangent edges. But if you go up to the solid menu, and you go into fillet edge from here, there's actually a blended edge option. And let's look at the difference there. So we have a tangent edge here. And what does that really mean? Let me build a cube here, and we'll look at what we have. So if I take this edge, and I put a fillet edge on here, and let's make that a 10. We go into set all, type 10, make that a 10. So I have just a nice standard edge on an uncomplex surface. And I'll just select Duplicate Edge. Hit F10 to turn on my control points. You can see we have one control point that starts the curve, one that gives it kind of its tangent point or its quad, and then another one to end this. So this is a 3-point curve. So that's a tangent curve. Now let me go up to our solid menu, select Fillet, and do a blended edge. And what this gives us is actually a curvature continuous curve. So again, let me type 10 to set that to 10. I'll choose this edge here, enter to apply that command. Notice they're just slightly different shape. This one comes a little tighter out. This one's a much softer corner. But now watch when I duplicate this edge and turn on control points by hitting F10. So now, remember we drew our curves earlier when we were drawing the main body curves. If we draw a couple of control points here, we now have G2 continuity. So this is G1 continuity, because you've got one control point after the start here. This is G2 continuity, or curvature continuous continuity, because we have our main point and then we have two control points. So we get G2. So that means technically this is a much better surface, or a much better fillet, much cleaner fillet anyway, than this one is. They're still both very good fillets, but this one is a little cleaner. And let me just select those curves and delete them. And if we go to our render, which is Control-Alt-R, and render those, that's our curvature continuous side, and then that's our tangent side. And you can see the tangent side, you see this fillet a lot more. It's less blended. This is a much smoother blend, whereas this one you almost see where this one starts and where it ends. And that's really the main difference. As I said, they're both good blends. This still is tangent. It's all nice and smooth, but this one's just that much smoother. Let me hit Control-Alt-S, take us back to shaded mode. Do some undos and we'll get us back to the state where our main body doesn't have any fillets applied to it. So all I have to do again to apply the curvature continuous blend is go to Blend Edge, click here, and let's see if we can get that to be a nice 15 millimeter fillet on there. So I'll click Fillet. Notice this time we're set to distance from edge. I'll click that and we'll go to Rolling Ball, but by default we do set on Rolling Ball. I'll hit Enter and notice it fails again. I'll do an undo, apply this, see if we can get distance from edge to work. And again that fails, which is fine, I figured it would. So we can go back and we can knock that back to 14, or if you find that you can't get a large radius to work at all, the workaround for this is to put a pipe through this. So what I'll do whenever I'm going to make a pipe is I actually duplicate the curve and then I extend that curve just a little bit to make sure I'm outside my main body area. I'll go up to Curve, Extend Curve, and I just want to extend the curve, so I'll just do the standard one. At first it wants some sort of a boundary object, and this is either a line or a surface or a poly surface that it's going to move that curve to. I don't have anything selected, so if I don't have anything I can just hit Enter and it'll ignore that. And then under Curve to Extend, I'll just click one end of this curve, and I can either drag up or I can just type a 2 in this case and hit Enter. And that's all I need for the extension, just a little bit there. I'll select that curve, Enter, this curve, hit Enter, and it's just applying those or extending those by 2 millimeters. And this curve, hit Enter. So all we've done is taken those curves and we've extended them a little beyond the surface so that when we apply a pipe, that I know the pipe is going to extend out here and won't cut off a portion of the actual main surface we're trying to cut. Hit Escape to finish that command. Okay, we'll take a short break here and we'll pick up where we left off in the next lesson.